My daughter showed me her school picture. I said she looks great, but her mom said she looks horrible. She started crying and ran away. I, 60M, have been married to my wife, 51F, for around 15 years. We also have a beautiful daughter named Haeyoung, 17F, who is in her junior year of high school. Yesterday after school, Haeyoung, pronounced Haeyoung, came up to me and my wife and showed me her school pictures, both her individual photo and her group/grade photo. They were taken all the way back in February, but they had just arrived today. I complimented Haeyoung and told her how beautiful she looked in the photos, before telling her how proud I was to see her grow up throughout the ages, before showing my wife the pictures of our daughter. It did not go the way I thought/hoped it would go. Instead of looking at it for a bit before saying something, my wife immediately pointed out to Haeyoung that she was looking too downward at the camera and that her eyes looked strained/forced. I was a bit taken aback at first, but I decided to just keep listening. My wife then said to my daughter that she would have to have rehearsals for school pictures with her for next year, because in my wife's words, Haeyoung still doesn't understand how to properly pose, smile, and look beautiful for a school picture. I was a bit irritated, but I let it slide. What set me off, though, was my wife then said, Haeyoung's picture is a fail. Honestly, Melissa looks the prettiest out of everyone. Haeyoung got quiet and said, I'm gonna be honest, my picture this year is really bad compared to sophomore year. I got mad that evening. We had a huge argument in the living room. I told my wife that she was being cruel to our daughter, and since school pictures were over, there was no point being so picky over it. My wife retaliated, saying that even Haeyoung says that she doesn't like how she looks in her school picture. I was just being honest. I'm only trying to help her. She then went into her room and started crying, saying that I don't understand her. I will admit, I raised my voice while we were having that argument, and I'm seriously sitting here questioning myself about whether I was the asshole or not. After our argument, I knocked on Haeyoung's door, and I could tell by her expression that she had listened to every piece of the argument. I feel bad because I may have overreacted to something as simple as school pictures. Plus, I ruined my daughter's evening and my wife's too. And I also made my wife cry. So, am I the jerk here? Edit. This is not the first time my wife has said something like this. This is why I feel even more terrible because I let my daughter suffer like this. I did give my wife a word or two, but I always told Haeyoung that this was just the way she spoke and that she really did love her. I really want to cry right now, especially overhearing Haeyoung crying herself to sleep yesterday night. She always kept on a brave face around me and my wife, but it just breaks me even more, now knowing she feels like she can't talk to me either. I failed her. Haeyoung always asked me every morning if she looked beautiful. She would always ask at mealtimes if she was eating too much. I'm so afraid of the damage we both put her through for so long. I'm so scared she's going to develop an eating disorder, and I'm going to make sure to set things straight with my wife and take care of my daughter better. She is always my first priority. Edit 2. I was taken off guard even though my wife has made responses like this in the past, because though it's not the first time, I had a little bit of hope left that she wouldn't point out Haeyoung's appearance that outright in her school photo. Relevant comments. Commenter. I am guessing based on the fake name that your wife is Korean? I know beauty standards there are super high, and she could be projecting her own insecurities and maybe even comments that she got when she was young. Of course, this is not okay, but it could be worth sitting down with her and having a talk. OP, you're right on that. Me and my wife are both Korean. The beauty standards there are super tough, so I'm probably going to talk to my wife privately to understand why she said that and check up on Haeyoung a bit before talking with my wife. I know she's super shaken up, so the best I can do is be the best father I can. To another commenter, I've lived in the States longer than in Korea now. Commenter, do Korean women tend to have very high beauty/maintenance standards? And no, you are not in the wrong. Teenage girls are already extremely sensitive about their looks, so your compliment was kind and nurturing. OP, I cannot speak on the behalf of everyone. I know that the beauty standards are extremely tough there. I've heard people commenting about the fatness/skininess of people's bodies. I've sometimes heard conversations about K-pop idols' bodies and faces, makeup, surgery, etc. Later that night in comments. Hello everyone, OP here. Tonight, since my wife is working a night shift today, I decided I'm going to stay together with Haeyoung for a daddy-daughter date. I know it doesn't matter whether we go out or not. All that matters is that I'm with her. I'm planning on making her some of her favorite foods and spending quality time as an apology for not being there when I should have been. She loves japchae, galbi, and cream bunjabang. I asked Haeyoung beforehand whether she wanted to stay at home or go out, and she wanted to stay home, and she chose to go with the first option. I'll let you know how it goes. OP is voted NTA. Update Post 1. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for their generous comments and advice. As promised, here is the update. After my wife left for work, I decided to check up on my daughter. She was in her room doing homework, and I could tell by the forced expression that she was not okay. As she talked, everything began to make sense. My daughter overheard her mother shaming her in front of the other church moms. She heard them boasting about their kids, and her mother would use condescending modesty. Ida. She's gained weight, and she doesn't even study hard. She was tired of trying to surpass my wife's expectations. She couldn't stand it when my wife was in the house. She asked me, "Why am I her diamond? She cuts me to make me shine. How more of this should I take?" I prepared her all the foods I promised to make, and she was hesitant, but ate a lot more than when my wife was around. She wanted to further talk with me. I then asked if she wanted me to tell my wife how she felt. Haeyoung said it was the only way to get her to listen. Before telling me she wants me to get a divorce. I asked her if she was absolutely sure, as it was something very serious. She said she was fine with it. I'm just devastated it has reached this point. When Haeyoung was at school, I had a conversation with my wife. I brought up Haeyoung's concerns, along with mine. I asked my wife what made her put down my daughter on the day of the school picture incident. She made excuses such as having bad days, hence she'd accidentally release her anger and other emotions by yelling, the silent treatment, etc. I questioned further if there was anything in the past that was bothering her, which she replied snarkily, "Nothing is bothering me. I raised her into a better person. If you have problems with how I'm raising her, she's all yours. I don't want to argue anymore, especially with a sensitive, lazy person like you." We had a lot of arguments in the past on raising Haeyoung. This phrase was used in all of our arguments to shut me up, as Haeyoung was consistently used as an emotional punching bag and a trophy for my wife. This was the last straw. I told my wife we were done, then told her to pack up and leave. I thanked her for letting me realize my self-worth. After some time had passed, she had driven to her parents' house and was staying there for a bit. When Haeyoung came back, she noticed her mom's room was a lot barer than it was and knew what had happened. I hugged Haeyoung and told her I was sorry for the mess I had caused, before reassuring her that nothing was her fault. I told her my ex-wife would come back a few more times to collect the rest of her stuff, but our relationship was over. This event shook me up a lot, but I know things will get better. I'm trying to make Haeyoung always feel loved. Haeyoung, you are my universe, and that will never change. Relevant comment. From OP. On a side note, Haeyoung's dream colleges are Stanford, UC Berkeley, and Caltech. She's a huge computer nerd, and got the gamer and software dev/software engineering genes from me, lol. She's going to be a senior soon, and even if she doesn't go to one of those three for college, it won't change how I think of her at all. In her words, even this divorce isn't going to stop her from achieving her sci-fi dream. Haeyoung is reading all of your comments with me, and she appreciates all of you. Update 2. Hey everyone, OP here again. I want to thank you all for your continued support and kind words. This past week has been a whirlwind of emotions, and I appreciate every single one of you who took the time to offer advice and encouragement. After my last update, things have been a roller coaster. Haeyoung and I have been adjusting to our new normal, and while it hasn't been easy, I can see glimpses of positivity that make me hopeful for the future. First off, the house feels different without my ex-wife. It's quieter, but not in a bad way. The tension that used to fill every corner is gone, replaced by a sense of calm. Haeyoung seems more relaxed, though I can tell she's still processing everything. My ex-wife came back a few times to collect the rest of her belongings. Each visit was short and businesslike. We didn't exchange many words, and I made sure Haeyoung was out of the house during those times. I didn't want her to go through any more stress. With just the two of us now, Haeyoung and I have started creating new routines. We've made it a point to have dinner together every night, something that we hadn't done consistently before. It's become our time to talk about our day, share our thoughts, and just enjoy each other's company. Haeyoung has also taken an interest in cooking, and we've been experimenting with new recipes together. It's a fun way to bond, and I can see her confidence growing with each dish we make. She's even taught me a few things, like how to properly season a steak and the secret to making perfect rice. Who knew my daughter was such a culinary genius? As for school, Haeyoung is doing great. She recently got her SAT scores back, and I couldn't be prouder. She's been working hard, balancing her studies and extracurriculars like a pro. She's still aiming for Stanford, UC Berkeley, and Caltech, and I have no doubt she'll get into one of them. Her determination is truly inspiring. We've also started talking more about her future. Beyond college, she's interested in artificial intelligence and game design. We've been looking into summer programs and internships that could give her a head start in those fields. It's exciting to see her so passionate and driven. One of the best decisions we've made was to start therapy. Both Haeyoung and I are seeing a therapist individually, and it's been incredibly helpful. For Haeyoung, it's a safe space where she can express her feelings and work through the trauma of the past years. For me, it's a way to understand how I can be a better father and support Haeyoung through this transition. Our therapist suggested we also try family therapy sessions, and I think that's something we'll start soon. It's important for us to heal together and learn how to communicate more effectively. Recently, something unexpected happened. My ex-wife reached out, wanting to talk. She said she's been reflecting on our marriage and her relationship with Haeyoung. She apologized for her behavior, admitting that she let her own insecurities and the pressure from her upbringing affect the way she treated our daughter. I was skeptical at first, but I agreed to meet with her. We had a long, emotional conversation. She started therapy too and seems genuinely remorseful. She asked if she could be part of Haeyoung's life again, but only if Haeyoung wanted that. I told her I'd discuss it with Haeyoung and let her decide. When I talked to Haeyoung about it, she was understandably hesitant. She said she needs time to heal and isn't ready to forgive her mother yet. I told her that's completely okay and that I'll support whatever decision she makes. In the meantime, Haeyoung and I are focusing on moving forward. We've been planning some trips for the summer, including a visit to some of her dream colleges. We're also planning a trip back to Korea to visit family. It's been a while since we've been there, and I think it'll be good for both of us to reconnect with our roots. We're also making our house a home again. Haeyoung has been redecorating her room, and we're planning on doing some renovations in the living room and kitchen. It's a fun project for us to work on together, and it's helping us create a space that feels truly ours. Relevant comments. Commenter. It sounds like you and Haeyoung are really starting to find your footing. How is she handling the transition overall? OP. She's handling it surprisingly well. There are still tough days, but she's showing incredible resilience. Therapy has been a big help for both of us. She's also finding comfort in our new routines and projects. It's going to be a process, but I'm confident we're on the right path. Commenter. It's good to hear your ex-wife is seeking help too. Do you think there's a chance for reconciliation between her and Haeyoung? OP. It's hard to say. Haeyoung needs time to heal and figure out her feelings. I think it's possible in the future, but it's up to Haeyoung. I'm here to support her no matter what. Commenter. What are some of the new recipes you and Haeyoung have tried? Any favorites? OP. We've tried a lot. One of our favorites so far is homemade ramen. Haeyoung loves experimenting with different broths and toppings. We've also made some amazing Korean barbecue at home. It's been a delicious adventure. Commenter. Have you thought about getting a pet? It might be a nice addition to your household and help with the healing process. OP. Funny you mentioned that. Haeyoung and I have been talking about getting a dog. We're doing some research to find the right breed for us. I think it'll be a great addition to our family. Update 3. Just when I thought things were settling down, life threw us another curveball. Yesterday, I got a call from Haeyoung's school. Apparently, some of the other students had been spreading rumors about our family situation. Kids can be cruel, and Haeyoung was feeling the brunt of it. When I picked her up from school, she was in tears. We had a long talk in the car, and she told me everything. The rumors, the whispers, the pointed fingers. It broke my heart to see her so hurt. That evening, I decided enough was enough. I scheduled a meeting with the school principal to address the bullying. I also reached out to the parents of the students involved. I knew it wouldn't be an easy fight, but I wasn't going to let my daughter face this alone. The principal was surprisingly supportive. He assured me that the school would take immediate action and implement anti-bullying measures. The parents I spoke with were a mixed bag. Some were apologetic, while others were defensive. Regardless, I made it clear that this behavior was unacceptable and that I would take further action if necessary. Through it all, Haeyoung showed remarkable strength. She stood up for herself, confronting her bullies with a quiet dignity that made me proud. She also leaned on her friends for support, finding solace in their kindness and understanding. We decided to channel her pain into something positive. Haeyoung started an anti-bullying campaign at school, raising awareness about the effects of bullying and advocating for a more inclusive environment. It's still in its early stages, but the response has been overwhelmingly positive. Update 4. After the bullying incident, things started to settle down for a bit. Haeyoung's anti-bullying campaign gained momentum, and she found a new sense of purpose. However, just when we thought we were finding our stride, we faced another unexpected challenge. One morning, Haeyoung woke up with a high fever and severe fatigue. Initially, I thought it was just a common cold or flu. But when her symptoms didn't improve after a few days, I decided to take her to the doctor. The diagnosis was a shock: mononucleosis. The doctor advised strict rest and no strenuous activities for at least a month. This was a tough blow for Haeyoung. With her senior year starting and college applications on the horizon, being sidelined by an illness was the last thing she needed. But true to her resilient nature, she took the news in stride and focused on her recovery. Slowing down wasn't easy for Haeyoung. She's always been a go-getter, balancing academics, extracurriculars, and her social life with grace. But mono forced her to take a step back and prioritize her health. We set up a cozy recovery space in the living room, complete with her favorite blankets, pillows, and a stack of books she'd been meaning to read. I took some time off work to be there for her, ensuring she had everything she needed. We also found ways to keep her engaged without overexerting herself. We watched movies, played board games, and even started learning calligraphy together. It was a slower pace of life, but it allowed us to bond in new and meaningful ways. One afternoon, while Haeyoung was napping, the doorbell rang. To my surprise, it was my ex-wife. She looked anxious and hesitant, holding a small bouquet of flowers. She asked if she could see Haeyoung, just for a few minutes. I was wary, but I decided to give her a chance. I woke Haeyoung gently and told her who was at the door. She was taken aback, but agreed to see her mother. Their reunion was emotional. My ex-wife apologized profusely, tears streaming down her face. She admitted to Haeyoung that she had been wrong and that she was seeking help to become a better person. She asked for Haeyoung's forgiveness, but made it clear she didn't expect it right away. Haeyoung listened quietly, then said she needed time. She appreciated her mother's apology, but wasn't ready to fully let her back into her life. My ex-wife understood and promised to respect her boundaries. Despite the setbacks, Haeyoung remained focused on her goals. She continued working on her college applications, albeit at a slower pace. Her teachers and guidance counselor were incredibly supportive, providing extensions and accommodations to ensure she didn't fall behind. We also started planning our college visit trip. With Haeyoung's health improving, we decided to visit Stanford, UC Berkeley, and Caltech in the fall. The trip would be a mix of college tours and fun activities, giving us a chance to explore and enjoy some quality time together. Our trip to Korea was still on the horizon, and we were both looking forward to it. Haeyoung was excited to reconnect with her grandparents and cousins, and I was eager to revisit old memories and introduce Haeyoung to the beauty of our heritage. In preparation for the trip, we started learning more about our family history. Haeyoung's curiosity was piqued, and she began asking questions about my childhood, my parents, and the traditions we followed. It was a wonderful opportunity for me to share stories and experiences, deepening our bond even further.